Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. This panel is called Fire, Strength and Renewal in Land and Water Management. And we have the great honour to have rangers here today. This session will be led by the ranger groups, Dhimurru and Yirralka, and will focus on Indigenous knowledge and values in land and water management, and includes presentations also from the Indigenous Desert Alliance, The Right Way, Desert Fire Program, and talking about Indigenous-led fire management program in the world. Please make all the rangers very welcome. It'll be wonderful to start with the Dhimurru Rangers, who will be wonderful to hear about the history maybe of Dhimurru, how long it's been around for, and what being a Dhimurru Ranger and what does fire strength and renewal look like through a Dhimurru lens.
Welcome everyone. I'm Steph Sully. I am the EO of Dhimurru Aboriginal Corporation, the Dhimurru Rangers. Dhimurru has been around for 33 years. It is a legacy as a ranger group. We have 5 generations of rangers working for us. We manage 550,000 hectares of land and sea. As you can see, one ranger, each of us, manages roughly 97,000 hectares of that country. So it's a massive job, but we do it because we're proud of who we are. I'm an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander woman. I have connections to Cape York and Bardo Island, but through strong sea country, songlines and stories, it has brought me to the journey of Northeast Arnhem land, to my Yolngu family here. And I'm very privileged to be able to be here as Dhimurru and representing, but I think I'll pass it on to Rak and Wanga, who could probably speak a bit more about what does fire, strength and renewal mean for us as Dhimurru.
Hello everyone, my name is Rak Marika, and I'm a relatively young emerging leader as well for one of for my clan, and I work as with the Dhimurru as a ranger, and with the I work along with my my auntie, with Maxine, and with my cousins and the family at Dhimurru. And as growing up, I was taught by my grandfather, who is the founder of Dhimurru, Yirralka Ranger, is my grandfather, my mom's father. And I was following him while I was a little girl, like 5 years old, and at the chat there's a photo of me and my grandfather, and I also did working experience with them during my journey. I started Dhimurru 7 years ago.
Hello everyone, my name is Wangam Rich, and I'm a Gumurr woman, Yaruri. Yeah, my role is I'm a senior ranger for Women's Ranger, and my dad was a ranger. Yeah, but he's gone now. But for my dad's footstep, yeah, moral is I look after 2 teams, men rangers and women rangers. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rak. Thank you, Wanga. It's not an easy thing standing up and talking on behalf of all the Yirralka Rangers, so we're really, really proud of you. Steph, maybe if you could just tell the audience a little bit about some of the programs and some of the responsibilities that Dhimurru has for caring for land and water here in North East Arnhem Land.
Yeah, so Dhimurru IPA is probably a little bit different to most IPAs around Australia, as we have probably similar to the Pilbara, I think, in WA, where we have a mining lease dead smack in the middle of a protected area. We also have a township, and we have 2 communities and quite heavy tourism that comes through this region. But our rangers do a fantastic job of managing that. So we do sea country, marine debris. If anybody was over this morning talking about the importance of sea country, some of our rangers were on that panel talking about that. We do land management, so feral threats. Threats is also people coming in, going to areas where they shouldn't. Also threats to culture, especially with sacred areas. So we try to ensure that people aren't going into places they shouldn't. Yeah, so we do a lot of work, a lot of hands-on work. I have probably about 13 rangers all up. So we have a massive, massive job. We also do fire. What else do we? Feral animal, like I said, did I say feral animal? Weed management, yeah. And it's just really working across with all the different stakeholders within our IPA to come together and think about how we can come up with solutions and to ensure that this country is protected for the next generation. I think Dhimurru's legacy has been the fact that it was built to protect country. It was built, as soon as the mine was coming, there was this threat, this massive threat of damaging country was having the mine here. And Dhimurru and Renewal and Gumurr, the families came together and Dhimurru was born. And so for us, like I said, 5 generations, 33 years later, it is really about continuing that legacy of those old people and their vision of protecting country forever.
Guests over the weekend might have seen the Ghost Net Pavilion over here on our left. Maybe if you could tell the audience a little bit about what is Ghost Net and what some of the problems that we face as young people with marine debris on the North East Arnhem Land coast.
Yeah, as you all heard about ghost nets and marine debris, it's a really hard job for rangers because we go out on land and we do a big job.
Yeah, so like my Abo Wanga saying, ghost nets is a massive problem. It is a problem for all us rangers. It's everywhere within the coast, right across the north. It travels from wherever it travels from. And it's one ranger, and I think Yirralka would be exactly the same, most probably Mathakal. I'll chuck some data at you. One ranger picks up 2.5 tonnes of plastic by hand a year. So that's how massive a job we have. And the ghost nets are not only visible on the beach, they're under our waters. We have special places under salt water as well. You know, our coral, it's our bush supermarket. It means a lot to us. So these ghost nets and plastics and stuff are damaging our country, but the rangers get out there every day and we do the best we can to protect country and for the future generations to enjoy, to make sure that our bush supermarket's there and to make sure that our people are going to continue being here way, way after we're all gone.
Thank you. We might hear from the Yirralka Rangers now. On our panel today, we're joined by Yanango Onongor, Makongon Marika, and Yirralka Kumana. Yeah. Yeah.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, visitors, distinguished guests, and clan leaders. I think this is another good opportunity. We're here in this building where the knowledge, where we keep the knowledge and keep the knowledge flow through the land. I just want to clarify what is the Kanbo means. Kanbo is the symbol of my mother's clan. Chapo, Tu, Chapo, Turi, Kupa, Turi Chapo and Kupa Chapo clan leaders were on this couple. As you can see, the logo here, that's represent Kanbo, which is the fish trap, fish net, to catch a lot of good things, post, even though to able to get, to bring people into the Lenapoy, Kanbo. And that was the Kanbo means, is to able to sweep the all together. Even though the job opportunities and all as the training opportunities, well as other opportunities important for Yolngo. We are the Lenapoy Homeland Rangers, which is Yirralka Rangers, next to neighbors to the Dhimurru. Dhimurru is the first born IPA in this region, and we are looking out to reach out to their homelands, which is about maybe 17,000, 1,100 decades square mark. That's what the number of the boundary that we were looking after. Stage 2 IPA and stage 1 IPA as well has been declared in 2006 at Pulamat Bay. And also the history of the lineup IPA, it was started over at Pulamat Bay because of the elders. They found a crocodile head were been shot and chopped it by the fishermen. And then they decided, all the leaders, to able to speak with their fathers, leaders, other leaders, members, family, and then they decided to reestablish this IPA for us, which is good, and then bring the words back to the organization, Lenapoy, because Lena is looking after and doing services across the all homelands, which is by the power of the all people, because they're the one that they been putting the pathway from mainstream to the bush and from bush to the mainstreams as well. So that it is their legacy, which is good. And really acknowledge all the leaders, they gone before us, what they done good things for us. And We about maybe 51, 52, 51 rangers, Dhimurru rangers, men rangers, and well as probably over 10 male rangers. And we do share their works, and we share looking after we're sharing the country together and working alongside with the facilitators here, facilitators, managers, and other arranger within our community. So we all spread out. Everyone's individually living in each homelands, whether in the small homelands or bigger homelands. But we all come together when we come to an operational way of looking at delivering the services. We all come together and also to make a decision together. As we got also award has been established as well, which is Jalkripung Award, Yirralka Award, and Wallace Lineup Award. And that is the governance body that can run our explorations, and the people sitting within the awards are representing their clan, their leaders, their ownership, and their so on. Everything that what they want to do for their country. And we very, very always listen to them, and they're the one give us directions as the leaders. So that was the message, really no, but we do, as we hearing from the Dhimurru Rangers, we do the same thing too. We're looking after the country, as I said, in sea, country, and land. It is very important to young people. And this particular program that been established across all Australia or in communities to able to work on what are the impacts within the community or in the country, like feral animals, pigs and feral animals are they are very, very massive animals, they're making and wrecking all the country, all the waterways and the floodplains and all the plants that was there for us, like the water chestnut and the other water lilies and other things as well, the flora and the flora habitat, in the different habitats, they're killing all those. And that's why we, as a ranger group, across the whole IPA in this region, we are the Dhimurru Yirralka. We have a strong relation as like we're working together and collaboratively working each other and looking after each other and sharing this continent, this country here in Arnhem land, which is good that we're working that way because I'm the mother of this land, Yirralka, and I'm the grandmother for Gumurr clan as well, that is the connection that we always connecting to each other from country to people and people to the country. And that was the very important part. And you want me to, or I can just now stop in this moment, and then maybe I give an opportunity for other important people that we are not here by ourselves, but we here, we got the governance bodies here as well. Your Lainapui, which is the leaders out there in the homelands. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, beautiful people. Just adding on to what our senior ranger Yirralka was saying. My name is Yanimul, Yanimul Monogorum. I'm the chairperson of the organization that runs the ranger program out to the homelands, Yirralka Rangers. These rangers, our rangers, our homelands is based within a 3-ward structure. The Lainapung Ward, the Merkapung Ward, and the Yirralka Ward. Some of these rangers, yeah. One ranger here, he's from within the Lainapung Ward. 1, 2, the 5 men here, they're within the Yirralka Ward. There's one ranger from the Yirralka Ward. He's working at the stall there, and there's many others who's back in the homelands. So we manage big area. 17 square kilometers. Somewhere around 17 square kilometers of land. It's a big job for our rangers. All our rangers is based in the homelands. There are some, our coordinators are based, works from Yirralka, one work from Gappuyak. They're people who's working with the Aboriginal rangers. We have a group called the Woodmala, and the Woodmala group, it's made up of the rangers and made up of the traditional owners, and the governing board of Lenapu Aboriginal Corporation, which I am the chair. We get advice from the Woodmala group when they talk about what it is we need when it comes to our ranger program. And that's how we work. We get advice and recommendations coming from the Woodmala group when it comes to funding, when it comes to resources. And then the Lainapu board, we have the final say over what is needed. So that is how we are structured within Lainapu. And then we have the Blue Mud Bay sea rights, and that is something that's come about like in the last 10 years. Roughly about 10 years time, 10 years, and it's looking after sea country. It's looking after our sea country, both Yirija and Dua. There is a lot of topics for discussions when it comes to our ranger program. We are all about listening to our traditional owners. We don't make our own decisions. We listen to the traditional owners. They are the people that's got the knowledge of the land and the sea. And it's all based around that. All our rangers, they have connections to each other. There's, kinship, Gurru system in place. And that's the system we use when it comes to land and sea management and when it comes to our Wangajaka Mirimala, our rangers. Yirralka is all about working together. That's what we stand for. We stand for partnership with other ranger groups, with external agencies, with governments, with, I've been approached like a couple of weeks ago from the defense, and they're looking at ways on how they can work with our rangers. So that sort of thing when it comes to, patrolling our seas and land. And we're all about Gurto when it comes to the Yulgumala. Whether we live in homelands, whether we live at Yirralka, whether we live at Ski Beach, or any other communities. That's what we stand for at Laina and at Yirralka, sorry, not Yirralka. We stand for partnership. We want to see all Yulgumala, our land and sea is very, very important to us. That's who we are. Our identity comes from the land, our language and culture and everything else. I'm gonna talk about the Yolngu Knowledge Framework. So when it comes to myself and the board, our CEO, our coordinators, and our rangers, both Dhimurru Rangers, we're working together. We want to be able to have a good relationship, a strong relationship when it comes to the Yulgumala. And we want to be able to have the same things, same things that I just mentioned with external agencies, our governments, and our other organizations that is interested in land and sea management. And that's what we stand for. And, we're here also to teach others who don't have a clue about our land and sea. And our people in the homelands, Kayulngu, everywhere, there is knowledge there that can be shared to others. That can be shared to others, not for their own gain, no. And that's something that needs to be understood, when we're sharing our knowledge to anyone, that is for one thing only. And that is to find ways on how we can work together.
Hello, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to first introduce myself, Mathakal America. I know on the panel there you have a lot of American family here on the panel, but it also goes back to that Gurto you're talking about. Inimla mentioned about the rainbow, and it's very well through my father. Kainbo is my father's Mari clan group. And I guess I'm here also on behalf of my father, working on homeland, and through that Gurto kingship connection that we have and relationship. And my role is as a Rom Gujakami, which is the caretaker. And what Animal was talking about, that we have 3 wards with made of our committees or board directors of Ngalapalmi. And it is very important that we have their input. And my job is to implement that from them and put that into our work management. because it is very important that we have their direction when it comes down to looking after country, land, and sea. And that's very important for our organizations. I'll talk about a little bit about the fire management. Recently, we've been working with Macquarie University. We're working closely with them about the fire management and the research they're doing about different habitats and different animals that live in different habitat. And example, Gulkula, because you've heard in this panel that how we as a Yolngu, with or without a uniform, we still belong to the land. It is the land that we relate to, and then we relate to each other as a people on land. And that's how we believe in our culture that land comes first, and then we Yolngu, we are the voices of the land. And that is very important, and we need to maintain that and pass that knowledge to our young ones that are coming, so they can pass on to their young ones. So it's about renewal. We're talking about renewal, rejuvenate, you know, and looking towards the future, what we want to achieve. And, you know, because of our homelands, you know, it's very big. But now that we're coming together and working closely with Dhimurru through our MOU, and that's very important for us, you know, because that Kuruto connection that we have. Dhimurru and Yirrakala, we are like Marikutara. They represent the wind. Yirralka, we represent the fish trap. And the boat related, Marikutara. So that's very important for our boat organizations to build up that relationship and work together. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'd love to hear a little bit now about the Indigenous Desert Alliance. Samantha, would you like to stand up here to talk, or are you happy to stand? I'll sit down still. Okay. Yeah, it'd be wonderful. Thank you for being here on the panel with our rangers. Would love to hear a little bit about what you're up to.
First, I want to say I pay my respects and thank you. As a desert spinifex person, my country is 4,000 kilometres the other side, Western Australia, so I pay my respects to traditional owners here. Nago Gurdoro Balya, that means my heart feels good here. First time I'm this way, so I just want to say thank you. Naigo Yini Sam Yimelan Nayano Banaga Naigo Barna Yilka country. My name is Sam Murray. My Aboriginal name is Yimela. My skin name is Banaga. My skin name is Banaga, and I'm a traditional owner of Yirralka country, Cosmo Newberry, in the Great Victorian Desert in Western Australia in the bottom part. My country looks a lot different than this country. Very flat, bright red, lot of spinifex,
mulga country, sandalwood, and we have a lot of rock holes and soaks, so long way from the ocean, my mob. So I feel very honoured to be here to talk about fire. I'm also the CEO of Indigenous Desert Alliance, and our organisation is a not-for-profit organisation that supports desert rangers, and that's across NT, South Australia and WA. We have 27 members, and all up we support over 65 desert ranger teams across the middle of Australia, Central Desert Way. We also hold, with all the members and the ranger teams, we run a fire program called Right Way Desert Fire program. We call it Right Way because it's culturally right way and environmentally right way, and it's the world's biggest Indigenous-led fire program in the world. A lot of mob out there, a lot of country, and we work together to make sure burn right way. There's a lot of spinifex and land out there, so we all got to work together, and we work at supporting the teams to connect up and look after the middle of Australia. So we cover 1/3 of Australia, so we have to work together as ranger teams.
Why is caring for country so important for your mob in your areas?
It's very important for us mob, obviously, for all mob across Australia, culture, caring for country, it's who we are. Especially in the desert, if we don't burn right way regularly, we end up with massive bushfires, and they can burn for a lot of the country. So we have to make sure burn right way regularly all the time, because it's our culture, but also because we need to make sure that things like that don't get out of control.
A lot of people might not know what burning country means, and also perhaps you could explain what it is and how it is done and how that knowledge transference happens.
So because we have really flat country, the Right Way Desert Fire Program has to use all types of fire management strategies and methods. We have to work with our elders strongly to map out country. We have to make sure what special sites we have to avoid, make sure that we've got a back burn so it doesn't burn through those sites. So we have to work with elders, we have to map it out. Usually, we use helicopters, take the old fellas up in the sky so they can see the country because it's a big country, and then map it out with the community and the ranges where they have to burn. And then it's a mixture of on-ground burning, so with drip torches or traditional practices with sticks and the different spinifex, to incendiary burning in the helicopters. So for us to manage that big lot of country, we have to utilise traditional cultural practices, burning practices, and also contemporary modern practices to cover that country right way.
And do you work with elders, and how are you finding there's a good engagement with our young people to learn those burning practices as well?
Yeah, we try and keep in a lot of, like I think every team around Australia, sometimes it can get tricky getting young mob, keeping them in there all the time. But, I think technology is always good, getting young rangers in, and they get to listen and record and share that stories from the old fellas, and technology is really helpful for that. That's a really good incentive for rangers to get in and listen to those stories as well.
And why is caring for country so important, and how does fire bring strength and renewal to your country and to your land?
Caring for country is so important. I think I've been overseas the last couple of years for the COP conferences. Went over to climate change one in Dubai, and then the biodiversity one in Montreal. And, I think letting everyone knows, we all know in this room, that it's important to care for country, but not only it's important to, but us mob as traditional owners of our lands, we know how to do it right way. And we've been doing it for a long time from our ancestors. And when we talk about things like climate change, when you talk about how we can tackle it, when we talk about how we can keep threatened species from becoming extinct, when we talk as Australians saying we got to look after the environment for the future generations, there's only one way, and that is to make sure that it's Indigenous-led conservation is the only way. So it's important to support rangers, especially because I heard someone said earlier that the boots on the ground, and that's 100% right. So I always encourage everyone to listen to rangers, elders, community, because we know how to care for country. We've been doing it for a long time, and we're not just doing it for ourselves and our culture. We're doing it for everybody because we all got to look after this environment for all of our kids.
Thank you. Now, we do have a tiny little bit of time left for a few questions from the audience if anybody wants to ask any of the rangers. Okay. Before we have us hand the microphone over for some questions, Ellen Muller is going to talk a little bit about.
Yirralka Knowledge Framework is a framework that is, established for our rangers, Dhimurru, Yirralka Rangers. It's a framework that, binds us together because we all Yirralka, working to care for our country, Gasi. That's how we see that framework from Yirralka perspective, yeah. And it's a framework that a lot of Yirralka elders, you put in a they put in a lot of effort into that framework. Yirralka coming from Yirralka area, homelands, and Dhimurru areas, right? Traditional owners, and worked alongside with our CEOs, couple of coordinators, all the rangers, it was a thing that brought us together. Bookmark Yirralka, Pauchiricha and Doa. And when it comes to us at Yirralka, it was a stepping stone for Yirralka. It was a framework that brings all our rangers to work together, right? To work together as Yirralka people with the guidance of our leaders, elders, right? And it's very, very important for Dhimurru and Yirralka. Let's not forget that. It's very, very important. Right? Yirralka is important. Right? If we don't, have something like that, then how are we going to work together? And when that framework came to pass, it brought us all together. Right? Dhimurru looks after all the areas within the Gulf Peninsula, within Nulunbuy, a couple of surrounding recreation areas, and Yirralka looks after the homelands. Right? In that framework, it states that we can work together, right? Because the Yirralka at Dhimurru, we all have, they all have connections to homelands. Like us at Yirralka, we have connections to Dhimurru areas, Yirralka, right? Gulkula and Ski Beach. And it's a good framework, I reckon, and we should be proud of that. We should be proud of that because it brings us together. And also the term Wangajakamiri. That's a Yirralka term. We want the government and external stakeholders to recognize that our ranges are also Wangajakamirrimala. They look after country. And when they look after country, they go out camping, also looking after country, land and sea. And it's a term we all use. And on behalf of Lena and Yirralka, I am very, very grateful, that that framework is there for us. Right? And that's what I expect all of us at Yirralka Dhimurru. Right? When it comes to that framework, ngana pur nyuro ngi bile ngala palmiro wala kal tarok to jama ngi na ko alal purpose ko kuruna numalan ka ngana purun kana ko alal purpose ko we can ngana purun mission statement, because the bottom line is our country, land, sea is important. It is who we are, and we have to look after our land and sea rambangi jama, no matter where we are. And that framework is manmak nganaburong bukmakko. Manmak nganaburong bukmakko, ka funding agencies to, ka governments to, na manguni framework, ka further on waliro kunga nganaburong. Further on into the future. And for all these beautiful people, letting you guys know that there is a framework that exists for us mob and Dhimurru, and that framework binds us together. Thank you. And for Yirralka, we'll be launching our plan of management. We was hoping we was going to do it here, but we've decided to have it out at one of the homelands, where we are going to be having a dedication ceremony for our stage 2 IPA at Talingbu. So that's where we're going to launch our plan of management. Thank you.
Thank you. That was really good message past message crossed, which is Manmak, as you heard the Yolngu framework, that as our it's the time that we have to step up as the Yolngu nations, Yolngu Mala across the whole IPA, to able to speed up our knowledge, what is the value there in the land and the sea. That's we always carried in our mind and in our heart as well, and throughout to the country. And it's very important to able to guide us in to look after the country and caring for country, and throughout the land and the knowledge that the power and the Yolngu Rom, it is the passed down to the next generation. We always do. It is very important to, over the last 2 years, that Dhimurru and us, we collaboratively implemented this program, which is we did over like 40 Ngalapalmirmala across the whole region, in this region, which is good, and asking them to give us the direction, which is, as Mother Maingandi there mentioned, which is good, and how to Jakawangao, how to care for country in Yolngu way, and how our people were living in the past and looking after the country throughout the customary law and cultural practices, language, and our boundaries as well, and the law of the country. And also to building up the old ways to manage the country today. Yolngu ways of the caring for country within the support of Palanda tool as a part of a new IPA plan of management. Yirralka will impress our Yolngu ways of managing through. Manikai, it's part of our activities that Yolngu always does that through cultural practices, protocol. Bongol as well as part of our culture. Jama, Ranger works because it is all the knowledge of the lands, water, and everything in it. Hunting as well is part of our lives, as hunting and harvesting is a part of our living and protecting our knowledge and skill of the land. The protocol where they pass the knowledge to the next generation, that we always does that is very important, so they have to carry the knowledge. And naming all the places, it's very important. Yolngu knows the individual clan, state, land, very important to the land people, where the Yolngu knows their boundaries and their ownership and the songs and the patterns and so on. And while we are out there, we are monitoring for any changes that what is impacts there, as we always talked about, need to bring back to the Yirralka for management program. That was the very important part, that what we seen there, we bring the Portnoy Jama to the operational, then we go out and do the works. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, we're nearly out of time, but if we could just maybe round up this panel by just hearing one last time from Dhimurru, and maybe what is the vision of the future? How can we pass on things, and what's important for the future for young people and rangers caring for country?
You guys want to speak? Well, I guess I can speak as Dhimurru, but also not as Dhimurru. So as an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander woman from freshwater and saltwater, caring for country for me personally means a lot. I'm a Yalanao woman, so I'm a catfish woman, Malandachi, lightning and thunder. So I was raised with my old people. I was raised on freshwater and saltwater, really heavily connected to my elders. So what my duwe there, Yanamal and my gurung and my family on this other side table of this thing was talking about is really important. It's about our old people. I was blessed to be able to be raised with my great-grandparents, and they taught me a lot about keeping our country protected. But it's not only about that, it's about who we are. You know, I don't need to go to a doctor when I need to get fixed. I just go and swim in the salt water. If I'm feeling down and out or feel like my children are suffering in any way, I take them out on country. And I've been pretty blessed to be able to be working with Dhimurru, because I have here my duwe and my sister sitting side by side, and Gurutu, as you talked about, Gurutu is really important. So in Dhimurru, we don't run by titles. Yes, I'm an EO. I'm a high-level secretary. I'm a Abba. I'm a auntie. I'm a wife. We use our Gurutu very much in Dhimurru, and that's how we work. So fire, strength, and renewal is really what we're about, together with Yirralka, together with all rangers as well. You know, this is about the next generation. Sooner or later, we're going to be Nalapal. We're going to be the elder generation to the next generation. And that's the important legacy, I think, about caring for country. Even out to desert country there, you know, it all means a lot to us. If you think about it, like, country is like our organs, our heart, our kidneys, our liver, our brain. And then the blood that flows through that is those rivers, the salt water, the fresh water. Our culture, our ceremony, our songs, our dance, that's all a part of who we are as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. So country means a lot more than something you sit on, something you see, something you take a picture of. And so, like I said, I guess for me, becoming the EO of Dhimurru, that is what I want to be able to bring for the next generation, is to be able to transfer some of that knowledge and also gain knowledge. And like my ate would always say, moro koe ko kaimal. It's all heads together, especially when it comes to land and sea management.
Yeah.
Ma- ma-
Thank you, Dhimurru. Thank you, Yirralka. Thank you, Indigenous Desert Alliance, to hear about the wisdom and knowledge that you all individually and collectively have this afternoon has been a great honour, and thank you for sharing with the audience. So if everyone could please help me in thank you.